of the NFL championship is cold, and a brusque wind whips the banners. The wind will be a factor, but this game, as any other, will be decided by a scattering of key plays, and by the way they're executed by the men taking the field. Championships are won by men, strong, proud men, who have spent a season preparing for this day of decision. The battle plans are ready, and now the game is in the hands of the men. Men like Jim Brown, the greatest running back of all time. Frank Ryan, a quarterback reaching stardom after 6 years. Gary Collins, for whom this will be a red-letter day. 40-year-old Lou Groza, the most prolific scorer in football history. Galen Fiss, one of the deadliest tacklers in the league. Dick Modulewski, who brought championship spirit to Cleveland. Bill Glass, a minister who delivers sermons of violence on Sunday afternoons. John Unitas, whose mind and arm make him the most valuable player in professional football. Gino Marchetti, who after 13 years as the toughest end in the NFL is ending his brilliant career. Raymond Berry, a perfectionist, who in 10 years has caught more passes than anyone else. Balding Bobby Boyd, all-pro defensive halfback. Jim Parker, blocking bulwark of the Baltimore line. And young Don Shula, National Football League Coach of the Year. The Browns win the toss and take the ball. You have to take the ball, Coach Blanton Collier said. But it was blowing so hard, we considered taking the wind instead. At the kickoff, the wind is gusting off Lake Erie at 25 to 30 miles an hour. Lou Michaels left foots a low skidding kick down to the Colt goal line. And the 1964 World Championship game is on. Walter Roberts returns the ball to the Cleveland 21 before he's brought down by Neil Petties. Establishing a running attack early, Frank Ryan hands to Jim Brown, who slants off left tackle, behind strong blocks by Green, Warfield, and Brewer.
Brown, the ball carrier, tackled by Shinnick. Official time for measurement.
It's a first down for Cleveland. On 3rd and 18, Frank Ryan has to go to the air. In super slow motion, the superb blocking, which will protect Ryan all afternoon, is clear. Jim Brown, who will catch the pass, starts his pattern, while Hickerson, Morrow, Wooten, and Shafrath form a solid wall of bone and muscle around the Cleveland quarterback. Ryan throws, and the ball is on its way to Brown, who has beaten Bill Pellington by 2 steps. Jim makes a fine one-handed catch, as linebacker Don Shinnick just misses him. Brown's acceleration leaves Jerry Logan sailing through the air. Jim cuts sharply to his left behind Paul Warfield's block on Lenny Lyles. Trouble arrives in the form of Bobby Boyd, who makes the first solid contact with Brown. Then gets help from Lyles. It looks as though the two Colts are making a serious attempt to disjoint the big Cleveland fullback, but the durable Brown is none the worse for the wear. The play carries out to the Cleveland 46 for a first down.
Passing to Jim Brown for the first down on the 46, tackled by Boyd.
It nullifies the disadvantage of the headwind, so that when the Browns are forced to punt, Collins' 27-yard kick into the young gale still carries to the Baltimore 22, where Kelly and Scales stop Wendell Harris in his tracks. Cleveland coach Blanton Collier welcomes his punting unit back to the bench. Now it's the Colts' turn. Lenny Moore breaks off right tackle and gains 15 yards before being ridden down by Larry Benz and the hard-pursuing Jim Kanicki. Unitas drops back to pass, finds his primary receiver covered and is forced to run. John gains 7 yards, but by forcing him to run, the Browns are making Unitas play their game. The Colts are moving as Jerry Hill drives into the line, but wait. The end zone camera shows that he has fumbled. The ball is recovered by Dick Modulewski. The Browns have possession at midfield, and the favorable position again negates the disadvantage of the wind in their face. The Browns have moved to the Baltimore 34 as Ryan passes. He is short of Paul Warfield. Don Shenick intercepts and returns to the Baltimore 24-yard line.
Ryan's pass intercepted by Shenick.
That same play, from another angle, shows that Ryan's protection is good. His pass is not hurried, but is held up by the wind, allowing Shenick to cut in front of the stumbling Warfield. Frank Ryan hustles to assist Warfield on the tackle. Don Shula, a defensive specialist, appreciates the value of this key interception, which interrupts the Browns' momentum. With a first down at the Colt 36, Unitas hits his favorite receiver, Raymond Berry. Berry fakes by Walter Beach and lopes to the Cleveland 41 before he's spun down by Ross Fichtner. The Colts are on the move, but even in success, there are warnings of trouble. Again, the superb Brown defense forces Unitas to run, and although he gains 16 yards, Unitas is much more dangerous throwing than he is running. The quarter ends and the Colts lose the advantage of the wind without having scored. The Colt drive dies on the 19, where Michaels sets to attempt a field goal. He never gets a chance as Bob Boyd fumbles the snapback and attempts to run. For a moment, it appears that Boyd may save the play, but Vince Costello drags him down for a 9-yard loss. The wind was a factor in this fumble, as the end zone camera will show. As Boyd reaches for the ball, it's blown up and to the right, just far enough so that he can't hold it. This play denies Baltimore a score and gives Cleveland a big lift. Later, the Colts have the ball again, and Unitas flips to the dangerous Lenny Moore, who seems to have an open path until he is violently upended by Galen Fiss in one of the key defensive plays of the game. Here it is again in slow motion. John's call is a good one because the Browns are in a blitz. The screen is set up perfectly, and the pass sails by the outstretched arm of Bill Glass into the hands of Moore. Moore has a convoy of blockers and appears on his way to a long gain, but Fiss slices in ahead of the screen and chops Lenny down. It was a daring gamble by Fiss, one of the heroes of the Cleveland defense. The ubiquitous Mr. Fiss slams Unitas to the ground a split second too late as Johnny completes an 11-yarder to Berry. The play carries to the Colt 32 as Baltimore begins to march. Unitas fades and finds Mackey open. Mackey is unable to hold the low pass, which is intercepted by Vince Costello at the Cleveland 29. With the aid of our slow-motion camera, we'll examine the bizarre chain of events which set up Costello's interception. Normally, a low pass such as this, if missed, would fall harmlessly to the ground. Instead, the ball ricochets off Mackey's thigh high in the air. Despite heavy traffic, Costello plucks the ball from the air and another Baltimore drive comes to an untimely end. With time running out, the Browns bid for a quick score. The spotlight camera follows Paul Warfield as he jukes by Lyles. He is clear momentarily until Jim Welch, the deep defender in the Baltimore zone, picks him up, and they race together for the ball. Intent on the pass, Warfield accidentally trips Welch, and as both men fall, the official's flag underlines the foul. The tripping costs the Browns 15 yards and earns Warfield an impromptu lecture on the evils of impeding a defensive back in the performance of his duties. The half ends with no score, as two of the finest offensive teams in the history of football are hamstrung by brilliant defensive play. Loyal Baltimore fans are blissfully unaware of impending disaster. The Browns take the win in the third quarter, reasoning it might die by the fourth. Groza's gale-blown 80-yard kickoff sails over the end zone, Joe Don Looney, and even the pitcher's mound. On 3rd and 7, Unitas attempts a screen pass. Behind a covey of blockers, Jerry Hill has the ball right in his hands. But he drops it. This was a significant play. A long gain appeared likely and would have bailed Baltimore out of trouble. But the Colts are forced to surrender the ball, and Tom Gilbert's wind-slowed 25-yard punt gives Cleveland possession on the Baltimore 48. Now the Browns begin to assume command. Ryan throws a screen pass to Jim Brown, who outflanks the Baltimore defense for a 15-yard gain. As we rerun that last play, watch for a key block from number 77, Dick Shaprath, which adds 5 yards to Brown's run to bring the ball into field goal range. When Baltimore's defense stiffens, Blanton Collier recalls his offensive team and sends in the Lou Groza-led field goal unit. With the wind at his back, Groza calmly bangs a 43-yard field goal directly through the uprights and into the arms of a gleeful Cleveland fan. Ballholder Bobby Franklin offers the official some advice, and the official agrees. Groza trots majestically off the field, having scored in his 12th championship game, and Cleveland leads. Once more, the inspired Brown defense stops Baltimore cold. A daring blitz sends Galen Fiss number 35 through a gaping hole. Unitas evades Fiss, but young Jim Konecki, a terror in this game, drops him for a yard loss. Baltimore is forced to punt, much to the chagrin of coach Don Shula. Ryan has discovered that sweeps from his double wing set work well against Baltimore. Jim Brown is off and running. Picking his way beautifully, he seems for a moment to be in the clear until Jerry Logan catches him. Why this play worked is shown in slow motion. As the ball is snapped, linebacker Don Shennick, number 66, steps to the inside, leaving the corner unprotected. Warfield checks end Ordell Bracey. When Bracey recovers, number 48, Ernie Green, knocks him down, and the right side of the Colt defense is wiped out. Brown cuts inside Lyles, getting blocks from Shaprath, Wooten, Clark, and finally from Hickerson. The play carries for 46 yards all the way to the Baltimore 18. On the next play, Ryan drops back behind strong protection and hits Gary Collins in the end zone for the first touchdown of the game.
Touchdown from Ryan to Collins.
The slow motion camera shows that Ryan gets the ball away just a step ahead of disaster. Although blocked by both Wooten and Brown, Fred Miller manages to get a hand on Ryan. He actually has a fistful of Ryan's jersey as the quarterback releases the ball. Collins makes a juggling catch between Welch and Boyd for a touchdown. On the sideline, the jubilant Collins is hugged by an equally happy Dick Modulewski. Lou Gross's kickoff soars to Tony Lorick in the end zone. Lorick's return is cut short when Leroy Kelly skips around the block and wrestles him down on the 12-yard line. A clipping penalty moves the ball back to the 6. The Colts are deep in the hole again, faced by that pesky wind. Unable for the third time to make a first down, the Colts punt from the 12. Gilbert kicks the ball only 27 yards. It goes out of bounds on the Baltimore 39. And Don Shula's face reflects the dismay of the Baltimore contingent. Luck is a part of any victory. A loose ball bounces right back into Warfield's hands, and he loses only 3 yards instead of 10, and possibly the ball as well. It worked for a touchdown once, so Ryan calls that same post pattern to Collins. Strong protection gives him time to wait for Collins to clear, and the pass goes for a 42-yard touchdown. On that last play, watch Morrow and Clark double-team Marchetti at the top of the screen. As Collins cuts, Boyd falls, and Collins canters in for the touchdown. In just 8 minutes of the third quarter, the explosive Browns have scored 17 points. Coach Nick Skorich imparts defensive strategy to Bernie Parrish. The Colts fight back grimly. Unitas flips a swing pass to Jerry Hill. Hill is met head-on by the violent Mr. Fiss and knocked down so hard that he sits in dazed dismay until the referee relieves him of the ball. Moments later, on the Browns 48, Unitas hands off to Lenny Moore. The ball skitters through Moore's arms and nestles in the warm embrace of Cleveland end Paul Wiggin, while Fiss discourages an attempt by Unitas to retrieve it.
Recovered by Paul Wiggin.
With victory virtually assured, it is a happy Cleveland bench which welcomes Wiggin as he abandons the field to the Browns' attacking force. Jim Brown demonstrates why he is considered the greatest running back of all time as he batters 23 yards to the Baltimore 14 before he's stopped by Fred Miller. In slow motion, Brown's run is even more impressive. Hickerson and Clark pull out to lead the play. Ernie Green puts a classic block on linebacker Steve Stonebreaker. As Brown turns upfield, Monty Clark, number 73, sweeps Bobby Boyd to the outside, and Gene Hickerson flips Gino Marchetti to open a path for Brown. At full throttle, Jim breaks through Logan's low tackle. Billy Ray Smith attempts a necktie tackle, but Brown shrugs him off. Miller finally gets Brown, but the big fullback drags him along for 6 more yards. The third period ends with Cleveland leading by a surprising 17 points. As the fourth period opens, Ryan turns to a different receiver, drilling Warfield on the Baltimore 1, where he is dragged down by Lyle.
First and goal on the 1-yard line.
Logically, Ryan sends Brown after the touchdown. Jim tries to pull himself over with the help of the goal post. Did he make it? The officials say he did not. The Browns argue, but to no avail. When Ryan slips on an attempted handoff, Michaels and Bracey are right on top of him, and the play costs a precious 2 yards.
On the 3-yard line, fourth down.
With Lou Groza on hand, a field goal from point-blank range is a certainty, even from an angle as sharp as this. Lou's perfect kick provides the standees with an excuse to warm themselves, with a small scrimmage of their own. It's Cleveland 20, Baltimore, amazingly, nothing. Watch number 69, Jim Kinnicky, spearhead the defense. He is hit by Szymanski. Then Jim Parker lends a block. Jerry Hill gets in the act as Unitas slides away from Modulewski. But the persistent Kinnicky escapes to trap Unitas for a 3-yard loss. The Colts are still dangerous as Unitas, behind good blocking, pinpoints Jimmy Orr on the Baltimore 42, where he's tackled by Parrish. This is the play which could have put Baltimore back in the game. With plenty of time, Unitas throws long. Jimmy Orr makes a beautiful catch on the Cleveland 14. But wait a minute. The official signals that he caught it out of bounds. Did he? Look at that play again. The protection is perfect. And Unitas stands calmly in the pocket. Bombs away. Orr is behind Parrish. He takes the pass 2 steps before going out of bounds. Did the official miss this one? We'll take one final look from another angle to make sure. From the end zone, we see the catch again. Orr is clearly juggling the ball, as these pictures prove. The ball must be under control before the receiver crosses the sideline. The official was right. So Baltimore must punt. Walter Roberts shows why he is nicknamed the Flea as he threads his way out to the Cleveland 36 to give the Browns favorable field position again. From the Cleveland 49, Ryan prepares to pass. He throws, and Collins, far downfield, is running step for step with Boyd. Both reach for the ball, but the taller Collins outstretches Boyd to catch it. Gary romps into the end zone and disappears into the howling, boisterous Cleveland fans. Rescued a few moments later, he is accompanied off the field by Frank Ryan after a friendly rumble with his well-wishers. A passer is only as good as his blockers. In slow motion, you can see the Colts are blitzing, with linebackers coming at Ryan. Green picks up Shennick, and Brown slows Stonebreaker, giving Ryan time to throw. Downfield, Boyd is tailing Collins closely, but the perfectly thrown pass comes in just over his desperate reach and just within the grasp of Collins, who takes the ball with Boyd's hand actually on it, breaks free, and goes in for the final touchdown. It's all over, and the men become boys. Fans stampede, and the goalposts disappear with a meaningless 26 seconds left to play. Somewhere, the Colts are leaving the field too, but no camera records their sorrow. Happiness is a team called the Cleveland Browns. Owner Art Modell talks quietly to Jim Brown, then hugs him gratefully. This is the overjoyed Browns' first championship. Collier and Ryan try to explain, but only the movies can lay bare the anatomy of a championship.